James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah. We packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the trade, yes and no, friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul, but when the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing, like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.
Yeah! Welcome to the basement, ladies and gentlemen. We giving y'all an early stream because we late to the topic anyway. Somebody's making me echo, and I don't like that. Who don't have on headphones? Alex? Yep, you're the culprit. So, as you can tell, I'm your host, Roy Lay Shepherd, and I'm joined today by my guy, Alex, my man Stone, and my dude, Harry. How you fellas doing today? We'll start with Alex. Alex, how are you doing today, bro?
Doing pretty good. Media Day was pretty fun to see some of the quotes. Can't wait to get into it. And we're getting closer to Heat basketball, and the Dolphins are doing well. If only the fucking Canes could pick it up, you know.
Hey, we're not talking about the Dolphins here. We'll leave that to JMV with his terrible basketball take. Stone, my guy. How you doing, Stone Cold?
Hey, I'm doing great. You know, camp has some interesting headlines, but honestly, the main thing that makes me so happy and excited about camp is it's an official signal that basketball is close. We can kind of stop these like trade machine games that we've been playing all summer long and have driven ourselves nuts with, unless you're Harry. But other than that, like I'm finally at peace. Like I know the decisions that have been made, and they're out of my control, even though they have been the whole time, and I can just watch basketball.
Harry, that felt like he was taking a direct shot at you, my boy. How you feeling today?
Yeah, it felt really personal. Well, first of all, the trade machine never sleeps, so you always got to be on the trade machine. Even after the trade deadline, you're thinking about next year. Also, I have to say, Stone looks nothing like I imagined, so that's like been throwing me off for the last 15 minutes since I've been on there. Just like I had a completely different picture in my head, so I was like, "This is him? Okay, cool." In terms of Heat basketball, I don't know. Well, you can get into it. Media Day doesn't mean a ton to me. I'm ready for the preseason and actual basketball. I don't care what they have to say or what they want to make up or lie about each other.
No, for sure. That boy said he thought Stone was black. I heard it with my own 2 ears. No, but yeah, Media Day don't mean much to many people, but it means something. It means something to some, and so we're gonna be here to talk about it. There were a lot of, oh my God. I didn't even have to say it, but y'all already know what time it is. Shout out to the first dono on the basement. My guy just tapped for the $9.99. Shout out to January 6th, first dono to y'all, Just the Bless. Oh, this Just the Bless, that boy an op. So how y'all let my op donate before y'all? But this lets you know that, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have been monetized. We are accepting super chats now. So if you want to help the basement out, y'all, make sure y'all hit that button down there. Give us a dono. We put it up on screen. We read every donation on this network. So if you donate, then you will definitely get your comment read. My boy Voodoo down here, he don't have to donate because he's an OG. He'll do it later anyway on his own. My boy say Harry is real. Yes, live and in the flesh. But, yeah, so training camp not training camp, but Media Day came with a lot of like kind of clickbaity sound bites from the day. And so, Harry, since you care the least about it, we'll start with you first. What sound bite kind of got you more out of place than you're accustomed to being? Like, what was your favorite sound bite or least favorite from the day?
Man, my favorite, least favorite. It's always nice to see the guys back and ready to play basketball. I don't think anyone said particularly threw me off. I guess you're at 7 saying that Bam's a 4. A couple other guys have kind of backed that up. That's been like the big talk, is that I guess they kind of been playing Bam out of position, so to speak, at the 5. But I don't think any of that stuff matters. I mean, you need a guy next to Bam who can shoot, so that's the key. And And I don't know if they have that guy on the roster right now. So that's another story we can get into. That's kind of just the only thing I can remember that really was like, okay, that's interesting that everyone on the team kind of thinks that Bam is a 4.
No, for sure. But we want to thank my boy R. Bra for the 199 dono. He said, back, baby, just like we never left, my guy. And we want to shout out to my boy Voodoo. I told y'all he was going to come through. My boy with the 1999 dono. He said, starting the season with a dub. Already, you doing it, but Miami might not. So let's go to my boy Stone Cold over here. Stone, actually, I kind of want to stick with what Harry was bringing up about everybody talking about Bam being the 4. We heard it from Yurt. We heard it from Jovic, the fake Jokic that's on our team. What are your thoughts on most of the players coming out now and saying, or a lot of players coming out now and saying that Bam is a 4?
I mean, I think it's a really just stupid thing to argue about in general. And for me, how I see basketball today, it feels entirely positionless. I know these guys fight all the time about, oh, he's a 3, he's a 4, I'm the 1. And I get that. And when they're drawing shit up, they all have positions. But at the end of the day, someone who's probably not the point guard, because on our team, it's Kyle Lowry, will be calling for a screen and driving to the rack based off of the reaction or kicking it to someone else. And so it really isn't a hang up about, is Bam a 4? Do we need a 5 next to him? It's about finding a complementary player that is tall, can defend other big players, and can help Bam's game improve either with spacing or by just having 2 twin towers down there that are so strong, they're going to get all the offensive rebounds, and they're just going to make life hell for a different team, and they're going to wear you down over the course of the game. I'm fine with either, but this argument about is Bam a 4, is Bam a 5? I mean, if we want to get really into it, what does Bam do on a basketball court that makes you think he's a wing player? Okay. What I've seen in YouTube clips, maybe, but I've yet to see him take what I've seen in these practice clips on YouTube and apply them into a game consistently where I'm like, yeah, that resembles wing play. So in my opinion, he's a big, but the whole argument's stupid.
What you are talking about, Stoneman Douglas. My boy, Darius Jordan with the big body $300 dono. He said, yo, Gad, is this enough? Hey, shout out to my boy, Gadiel Cartagena. Peer pressure is a motherfucker, especially when it's attached to these super chats. Yo, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Before we got into this shit, me and Adam was doing an over-under on how much super chats we'll get on the first episode. I'm just gonna let y'all know y'all already crushed our shit. So let's see how we can run that bitch up real fast. But yeah, Stone, I'll let you go ahead and finish. I'll let you go ahead and finish your point before I throw this to Alex.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think it was a stupid thing that people are overreacting to. My big favorite media takeaway or comment from yesterday was actually from the OG, Udonis Haslem, who talked about guys having to make sacrifices on this roster, taking what he called minor steps back at times so that the team can be more successful. And I started thinking about guys like Tyler Hero, who in isolation can be a very good basketball player at times. But can you depend on him to fit into the rotation and execute a drawn-up play where he's a stand-still shooter in the corner? That I want to see those kind of steps where they're making progress by stepping into a lesser role.
I fucks with it, though. I think a lot of people in the network are of the same mindset. Like, we don't really give a shit about what position people want to call Bam. We care more so about how he operates in whatever position that they put him in. So I want to shout out my boy Pride by Pack TV, Basement Boy, Kane Gang, of course. He said, hey, super chats up, LOL. He in 5 holes. Hey, I fucks with it as long as you put some dollars on it, my guy. Alex, let's start. Oh, wait. Stone, you just told us what your favorite one was. You was talking about UD. But I'm gonna come back to that, but I do want to still stick on what Harry was talking about with Bam at the 4. So Alex, give me your thoughts on what Bam at the 4 looks like, and then you can talk some about what Stone was talking about with UD and how he mentioned other guys taking minor step backs for the greater benefit of the team.
The Bam at the 4 stuff is interesting. I think it's just a bunch of dudes either wanting to keep their job or get a fucking promotion. If Omar Yurtseven doesn't start at the 5 this year and doesn't play again, at what point is it a wrap? Is it this guy's not fucking playing basketball in the NBA anymore? So again, media days when everybody comes in and sucks each other off and is like, oh yeah, Tyler's going to drop 28 a game And, Bam's going to shoot the three now. And Kyle lost 150 fucking pounds, just like James Harden did. And, we're really just never going to fucking lose a basketball game ever again because we're such a tight-knit community. And, as somebody said in the comments, we're starting 13 guys this year. Dude, the Bam at the 4 shit needs to stop until Bam hits just hits a three. Just hit a three and it's fine. We can talk about it. But he won't do it.
At the buzzer beater, Alex.
Oh my God, the buzzer one. Oh my God.
The buzzer beater in the quarter, Bam. That boy money.
Do it again. Do it again. Like or when Brook Lopez is sagging off you, pull up for the mid-range. Just pull up. Do it. Hit it consistently, and then you can be a 4.
Yusuf Nurkic too. I had to get that in. Sorry.
Yusuf Nurkic, it's not going to happen. I want to believe that Bam is going to. Oh my God. What?
Hey, listen, bro.
Royal,
this is how this shit goes. We stopping the show in the middle of your speech to shout out my boy Darius Jordan again with the $100 dono. He said, "Yo, Gad, what about? By the way, per diem, a motherfucker. What about now? By the way, per diem, whatever. I don't care about your irrational spelling of words. You gave me $100. Start the year off right. Pack them up. You already know what time it is. I pack up whoever you want." Goddamn, I'm packing Alex ass up. I'm packing Harry ass up. Stone, keep giving me money, bro. We'll pack up Adam Barat too. But yeah, Alex, go ahead and finish your point, bro.
I was just gonna say, Bam's not a 4. He's not gonna be a 4. He's gonna start at the 5 again next year, next to somebody shorter than him. We all know it. Let's just stop. It's just they can talk about it all they want, but he won't play the 4.
No, well, that's actually been the topic of conversation quite a bit because you had several people volunteering to play the 4 at that point. Harry, I thought it's to you. They call Yerk 7 called Bam a 4. So did Jovic, who said him and Bam play the same position. But then you got people like Strus who come out and say he'll play the 4. Caleb Martin looks prepared to play the 4. Fuck what I'm talking about because my dog Heather Klein came in here again. 99.99 dono. Appreciate you, Heather. I'm not calling you what that boy Al called you, but you know what you is in my book, girl. He said, I can't give $300. I got to get a Botox. But second back super chat. Shout out to you, Heather. But yeah, what do you think about some of these other guys who are all kind of putting throwing their name in the hat to play the 4? And who do you think eventually comes out of that?
I think Alex made a good point. They're just gonna say whatever they want to say. Everyone wants to start. I mean, you want everyone to want to start. It would be kind of stupid if Media Day was like, no, he should start and I'm good, playing my 10 minutes a game and that's all I want, I think eventually, after all is said and done, Strus is just going to start. I think they want another shooter in the lineup. And I know he's on a 4, but I'm positive that, I don't want to put money on it per se, but I think Strus and Hero will be in the starting lineup next to Jimmy, Bam, and Kyle. So I think that's what they're going to do. It obviously might not be the long-term solution for the team, but they're going to want to spread the court a little bit. You have an issue with Jimmy and Bam not being three-point shooters, obviously, and Kyle wasn't taking as many as you like last year, so you kind of need the spacing in the lineup. And I think that's what it's going to be. In terms of the other guys, I'm not as low on Omer as Alex was. He sounds like he wants to send him back to Uzbekistan. I'm not really on board with that. I like him, especially as an end of the rotation player. So I think Spo will do a good job getting these guys in and giving everyone some rotation minutes because it's a long season and they're going to need it. They weren't healthy last year. I don't know if you could expect complete health this year. Let some of these guys play and see what works. If you got to play Bam at the 4 a little bit to let him be a little more aggressive and let him play out on the wing a bit more, let's do it. Who cares? Let's see what happens. I don't think his skill set is limited to one position. I think that's why people get frustrated with Bam's offensive game is that he is really talented. You've seen the explosions in a game against the Nets. You've seen the explosion in Boston in Game 3. He's got the talent. He's coming into year 6. Let's see what he can do at all spots of the court. That's what they want from him. He's probably should be much more than a one-time All-Star. Let's get Bam another All-Star season. Let's see what he can do.
I think Bam is going to naturally become an all-star because of how much worse our team. I think because our team got worse, Bam is going to be better by just because of opportunity now. But fuck all that. Back to this cash. Want to thank my girl Cynthia Lee for the 1999 dono. Sorry, I'm not going to assume your gender, Cynthia. She said, play the video, Justin. Not yet. Not when things flowing like this, Cynthia. We got a little more for you. She said, we locked in, gang. Let's go, Heat. From Justin's OG. Oh, for sure. Listen, I'm going to tell you, you must be new here, so I'm going to explain to you the rules. You can donate money specifically to Justin all you want to. We finna chop your shit up like dope and pass it out to the community, baby. Like, that's just how that goes. Darius Jordan, if you give me some more money, I'm gonna start taking off clothes up here. But you know how this works, bro. Thank you for the $50 dono. He said Heather or Aunt. Now with that $99.99 dono, y'all can go back and forth if y'all want to now. You know, y'all boy get, you know. let's get back to some of this basketball talk because yeah, I think the Ford conversation is a bit overblown, like by the entire fan base. Like, no matter who they end up having in there, like, Bam is going to do the work on defense, and they're going to expect that person to be able to space the floor. Whether that's a smaller one, like I ain't going to say God forbid, but Jay Crowder, I guess.
Bring back Jay.
Harry, I like that trade a lot. And it's because of Torrey Craig. I don't think people realize how good of a basketball player Torrey Craig is, but I like him. And so if we can get rid of Duncan, not have to give up a pick, and get Jay Crowder and Torrey Craig back in return, I think that's a win for Miami, and you should try and get that done.
I just think we're at the point where, like, just objectively, right? Duncan was not a playoff rotation player last year. We needed shooting so bad, and Spo was like, Duncan, you're done. Sit your ass on the bench. So if that's what you're getting from a guy that they do not trust in the postseason, he has to be gone by the deadline. And I understand them not wanting to include a first-round pick if they're not getting an upgrade. So take his contract, break it into smaller contracts. And the one I suggested was Jay and Torrey Craig in a three-way deal with the Suns. Like, break that down. Expiring contracts are much easier to use, to trade and to use and to do whatever you want with. And those guys would help the team too. I know everyone's kind of torn about Jay. He's much younger than I thought he was. I thought Jay was like 36. He's like 31, 32. He's younger than I thought. He had a nice run in the bubble with us before he obviously forgot how to shoot, which is kind of his issue, is that he's hot and cold. But he's an elite defender. He takes a lot of, I don't know, elite was a little tough, but
I'm sorry.
He's a pretty good defender. He would take a lot of pressure off Jimmy and Bam in the front court defending. And if he wants to be back here, I think we should do it. I really I don't understand why everyone gets all crazy. Yeah, no, give Duncan a chance to rehab his trade value.
Don't get ahead of me, Harry. Don't get ahead of me,
Sorry,
bro. I'm gonna pass that rock to somebody else, because your stance on this case has been well documented, and I think people know where you are on that. But we did hear, and shout out to Five on the Floor, 5 Reasons Sports, because I did pick up a lot of this information from their videos that they were posting. I listened to the pods. I listened to Miami Heat Beats pods too, just to kind of hear what the conversation was being had out there. But one of the things that was brought up when they were talking to Duncan was Duncan didn't recognize the player that he was last year when he looked back at the film, and for whatever that worth. Stone, is it legitimate to say that we could be seeing kind of a Duncan bounce back season? Is that a possibility? Is that something that we need to explore? Because in order to trade him, like somebody said in the comments, we need to recoup some of that value.
I honestly feel like I'm probably, among all Heat fans, Duncan Robinson's biggest fan. And that's not to say I'm super happy about him being on the team. It's just to say that I don't have this same hatred and resentment in my heart that I feel like 99% of the fan base holds for this guy. Listen, he didn't play very well at the end of last year. I mean, Davis Bertans got a very similar contract, and he played dog on it, and they were able to move him in kind of this massive trade. So I'm not really worried. People need floor spacing. This guy's going to always space the floor. No one's going to just let this guy stand still at the 3-point line and not close out. He's going to knock down wide open threes if you just leave him open and do that all game. And so there's a premium for floor spacing. There isn't a premium for being a fat 36-year-old point guard, okay? But there is a premium for floor spacing. And so I think one thing I know a little bit of personal information about Duncan Robinson. The man is very, 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 very into cardio beyond what they do at practice.
We seen him do a whole season of it last year, Stone.
I know. And I think that takes a little pressure and effort off of guys in off-ball sets and scenarios where he can handle the running around the arc. And you're not forcing a guy like Tyler, who you're hoping can, get by guys and get inside. You're not wearing him down. So by the end of the game, guys that are stronger than him, which are going to be most basketball players, can make his life really difficult for him.
Now, I want to thank my girl Heather for the $4.99 dono. She said, Darius Donald Stark, you only worth $4.99 to come back at. Jesus, Heather, you can't talk about that man like that when he doing this kind of shit here. Thank you, Darren Jordan, again for the $20 dono. He said, Bosswell99 hashtag Bosswell99. That's a nasty agenda you got, Darius Jordan. I don't even know if I like that. Thank you to my guy Shark for the $19.99 dono. He said, what do y'all make from Duncan's positive mindset coming into camp this year amid all the trade rumors? I know he's an op, but real question. So I'll throw that to Alex. Alex, what do you make of Duncan's positive mindset, considering everything that he's kind of like he's been the target of trade rumors for nearly a year now?
I don't think Duncan should ever wake up any single day and not be happy considering the amount of money he's making for doing absolutely fucking nothing. So I'd have a pretty positive mindset too if I was the highest paid undrafted free agent player ever besides Drake. So listen, man, I really think that Duncan is going to have a bounce back year. It's going to be hard for him to not have a bounce back year when he's surrounded by a top coach, one of the best defensive centers in the NBA, and a top scorer on the wing. I mean, Monty Williams is a top 5 coach in the NBA. DeAndre Ayton is a top defensive center. And I think Devin Booker is one of the best scorers on the wing. So it's going to be really hard for him to have.
DeAndre Ayton is a top defensive center?
Oh, according to fucking everybody on Twitter, he's better than Bam. So, it's going to be hard for him to not have a bounce back season. And I've heard there's a lot of great podcast spaces out there in Arizona. I think his political aspirations, his political community, the type of people that really root for Duncan Robinson. I think there's a couple more of them out there in Arizona. But hey, it's getting crazy in Florida recently, so you never know. But yeah, it's going to be hard for Duncan to not have a bounce back season. But with his positive mindset, dude should be waking up smiling from ear to fucking ear every day for the amount of money that he fucking gets, bro. Ear to fucking ear to wake up, do a podcast with his buddy, and talk about how, for about a 6-month stretch, I was the hottest shooter in the world. And now I never have to do anything for the rest of my life.
I ain't gonna lie, Stone, I did not know that you were pro Duncan, bro. If this had came out in your interview, you would never seen the light of fucking day on the basement. I can tell you that.
I am certainly not pro Duncan. I'm just not anti Duncan to the extent that everyone else is. I mean, like, whose spot on the roster is this man currently? Like, who's he blocking? Okay. Oh, he is burning our money. Sure. That sucks. Okay.
Not my money.
Yeah, exactly. It is not my money. That is a great point. I've seen them just piss money down the toilet paying Tyler Overpaid Johnson. Okay. That guy didn't give you spacing. He didn't give you a bounce. He didn't give you shit except an ugly ass smile. So at least with Duncan, I know when I enter the door, at bare minimum, he is going to give me floor spacing. And for that, I think there's more value in that than in being a fucking tall 7'1" Turkish man who can't move his feet and just gets fucking obliterated by Chuma Okeke and fucking Mo Bamba. Okay, he is a disaster. The reason he hasn't had these meaningful minutes that Alex was talking about is because he would embarrass himself. He would bring secondhand shame on the organization, on his coach, maybe even on his family. I would love to see them put this man in the starting lineup against the Milwaukee Bucks and watch Giannis just invent a new form of basketball.
Bro, Stone, I don't know how your year 7 agenda came out and I asked about Duncan, bro, but you always find a way home to get to that, my boy, without fail. Harry, I want to talk about the elephant in the room, Kyle Lowry. Goddamn, the literal elephant. This man, look, I'm not one to come up here and back up Pat Riley, okay? That's not what I do. I'm not an organization pumper or nothing like that. But I would be lying to everybody's face if I said that what Kyle Lowry was saying there didn't kind of rub me the wrong way. I did not like it. And I was offended for Pat. What was your take on kind of Kyle Lowry's disposition coming into media day and into the season?
I don't know. I guess I'm not as angry about that as other people were. I mean, if your coworker called you out and you had all summer to think about it and you come back and the first question you got was about that coworker calling you out, I don't know if I'm like, yeah, he was right. I was fat. We're good. Like, I'm working on it. I think for the most part, like, he heard it. Listen, media day is all about lying. It's lying day. That's what it is. So he heard it. I'm sure he's on social media. I'm sure whether he heard it firsthand or someone told him about it, he knows about it. He probably knew he wasn't in great shape. There were other things going on for him. I don't want to make excuses because we needed him to play better, obviously, and that didn't happen. But I don't know. I don't think everyone has to come in and just like buy into Heat culture and love Heat culture. Kyle's an older guy who's been in another organization for a long time. We want him to come in and play well. I don't care if he leaves and says Miami was the greatest experience he has. Hey, it was okay. It wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but I need you to play well. I need you to be there at the end of the games. I need you to be there at the end of the season. And I need you not committing just unbelievable, nonsensical fouls in Game 7, flopping all over the place. Get up, play defense, hit a 3, get a rebound, make an assist, make a play, do something. You're getting paid a lot of money. So I understand the injury was unfortunate. I know he had other things going on for him. He needs to be better. I think he knows that. I just don't think he was going to sit there and be like, Pat was right. I was fat. Let's move on. So I think he just kind of like ignored it. He knows he has to be in better shape. And if there are other things that come up, right, they were saying, oh, maybe this issue is still kind of lingering. He needs to find a way to figure out how to be productive on the court.
But Harry, I got to give you back this a little bit, bro. Like, I think what's rubbing so many people the wrong way is that we're accustomed to people coming into this organization and just kind of paying that deference to Pat Riley. Like, this is off the beaten path for even Jimmy Butler, outside of wanting to throw hands with Spo and UD. Like, Jimmy Butler came in and he fell in line. Like, for a personality that enigmatic to, come in and do that, and then Kyle to come in and do something completely different, that doesn't like throw you off even a little?
I don't know, man. Like, listen, Pat speaks what? He speaks once or twice a year now.
He's
older. Malibu's staring him in the face. He got to figure out when he wants to leave and what makes sense for him and his family and the organization. Like, he makes these proclamations every time. He's always saying, "Hey, this guy could be better. We need more from Tyler." And I think if Kyle was younger, he would say, "Oh yeah, I really gotta." Kyle knows what he needs to do. He's not an idiot. He just didn't play well at the end of last season. So I know what people are saying. I know there's like, you got to bow down to Pat and everything he says. And I love Pat Riley and I'm a big Pat Riley fan, but I don't know if that comment was like, he just didn't want to rehash someone saying that he was not in the best of shape and didn't play well. I get moving on from that. If he struggles again and he's not good out of the gate, or he gets hurt, or he's just not shooting the ball when he's open, we can have a talk about maybe he's, not really happy about the comments. But for now, it's not killing me the way it's killing everybody else.
I think my one thing is not that, like, I don't think it's him bowing down to Pat. I think it to me, and I'll throw this to Alex, to me, it feels a little bit like airing dirty laundry. Like, you can feel like it felt to me like there was a bit of tension there between Kyle Lowry and the rest of the organization. Go back up to Darius Jordan before you get the Sharks comment, because I think Sharks comment is kind of true. But we want to thank my boy oh my God, he talking about elephant in the room is Donald's likes. Listen, bro, nobody's going into your freaky, nasty ass, horny likes, bro. We're not having that. You can give me all the money you want to, and nobody finna click on that nasty ass profile. That is Pornhub on Twitter, and nobody got time for that. We're here to talk about basketball, horny man. Now we can go to my boy Shark with the $4.99 dono. Appreciate you, my guy. He said that boy Lowry lying. Of course he is. He said, but who cares? If he's taking credit for the weight loss, not my problem. My problem is not who he's giving or taking credit for. Like, that's not my issue. I don't care that he said he always, prepares internally. I care that it made it seem like it was like, fuck what that boy Pat said. Like, that's kind of what it felt like to me. And then him not being willing to talk to the media on the first day of training camp, Justin, you can move that comment, but him not being willing to talk to the media on the first day of training camp kind of like adds a little bit of salt there. So Alex, what were your thoughts on the Kyle Lowry thing?
I'm with you, Royal. The way it was just kind of the way he said it. I wouldn't mind him coming out and saying like, hey, I just don't pay attention, period. But he kind of made it seem like, well, Pat can have his opinion, and his opinion matters to me as much as it does anybody in the fucking world. Like, it doesn't mean shit to me. And I'm like, that's the boss. I think you should probably care about his opinion. He's the one who tells Mickey where to sign the checks, because I know Mickey doesn't care about, I don't think he knows anything about the team itself besides please sign here, and hopefully Carnival stock is up. We still got to do that stream. We got to figure out if stock is up. But I really do believe that Kyle Lowry just wants to, have this big resurgence here. Fuck weight loss. How about hamstring strength? Are we working on the hamstring strength? Because this dude can lose 100 pounds and he's gonna have a hamstring injury in the first 2 weeks of the season. Under 55 games on Kyle Lowry playing this year. Under 55. Over 50. I fucking hope so, because listen, man, this guy.
I got Kyle playing more games than Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like. He is lying to Shark's comment. He's straight lying, because he was posting all those videos about him at the UFC gym with Dane. Like, I'm like, I don't know what Kyle Lowry's obsession was with the UFC gym. Clearly, he's trying to fight somebody. So let's fucking fight those hamstring injuries, buddy, and let's stay on the fucking floor. That's all we need.
He should try to fight them calories.
I wish he'd fight his goddamn self. I'm unlike any of you. I'm outraged by his fucking comment yesterday. Are you kidding me? You're 36 years old and you can't handle slightly negative comments about your weight? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're getting paid $29 million a year to play basketball at 36 years old. And one of the greatest GMs, coaches, minds in basketball history is asking you to be in shape, a basic requirement of your job. And you're going to fucking push back against that? Are you that fucking soft-minded? I fucking hate this man. I hope his hamstrings fall off the fucking bone. He sucks. Fucking 22-year-old Tyler Hero is out there knocking up every model he can find in South Beach. And even he can handle the press and a microphone better than this fat, demented fuck who has no grip on reality.
Oh, my God. Stone. Oh, bravo, Brother Stone. Bravo, Brother Stone. Listen. Hey, I'm not there. I'm not there, but I do agree that to catch a fucking day.
I don't think people that Kyle owes money to are there. I don't know what he did to Stone, but man.
Yo, listen, but no, to be honest with you though, like I feel him though, like a little bit, not to that extent, but it's like I feel him like this is one of the basic requirements of your job. And to his point, like Tyler, for all the bullshit that floats around at Media Day, Tyler won Media Day. He walked back some of those comments about starting. He talked about wanting to fit in and find a role there. Does Tyler make you happy, Stone? I feel like we got some anger issues.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Tyler, Stone. Woo-saw. So how did you feel about Tyler's just kind of disposition about, just being a team player and following the organization?
I thought it was great. I mean, for a guy who off the court just seems like one of just an incredibly immature human being, all his basketball talk, all his basketball comments, except for saying outrageous things I'm a top 3 player in the world or whatever. I get where that's a little immature, but he's usually very mature in how he responds to criticism, to media, and he gets a lot of criticism. And it would be real. I think I've seen him respond cryptically twice, and that's the extent of his immaturity on the matter. I think he's a player that wants to get better. I'm sure. I mean, he's earned Jimmy Butler's respect, and a lot of fucking players in this league can't say the same. I mean, he had Carl Anthony Towns in tears calling his college coach, saying this grown man is bullying me. I can't take it. What? I mean, so Tyler has handled just criticism way better than a former all-star in this league, an NBA champion who's making a shit ton of money. And he just cannot fucking handle very soft. It's not even criticism. It's more like a suggestion to improve yourself, which suggests that you're lesser to some extent. But it wasn't even really a criticism. And he took it as one and just played this petty game. I think Tyler came into camp, serious. I think he wanted to be a starter. I think that what I've seen that he's been hanging out with Oladipo more, which I actually like. I think that's a good thing. I think that both of them could start on any given night. I don't think he's so concerned with that anymore. I like that he walked the comments back. And I think he's ready to contribute and play winning basketball. And and here's the other thing. It's in everyone's best interest that Tyler Hero have the best season possible, whether you don't like him and you want to trade him, or if you think that he's a good player that can help win you games. We should all be on board with the fact that we need and want to see him succeed this year.
I'm fucking with it, Stone. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm Tyler Hero's biggest op on the network. Probably. Like it is what it is. I've been that way since his first season. But like you said, bro, I want to see Tyler Hero play well this season for whatever reason. Because when he does play well, it helps our team, or it can raise that trade value for us to possibly get something bigger than that. But what I don't want to see is that extension that Darius talking about. I don't want to see that like at all. Harry, I think one of the interesting things that Tyler was talking about, which we talked about quite often, were the things that he wanted to improve on next season. He talked about how he wanted to be able to score without a screen and wanted to get I know that boy watched The Basement. Tyler, shout out to you for watching The Basement, taking this ass kicking that I've been giving you for 3 years. And I appreciate you for even acknowledging me, bro. You ain't say my name, but I know you was talking about me. But how do you feel about him talking about the parts of his game that he wants to grow?
Yeah, I thought Stone was calmer and spoke a little bit better about Tyler in terms of, he does kind of get it. He's a young kid, but he seems a little more polished in front of the mic than a lot of guys. I think a lot of the guys out of Kentucky seem to be pretty good in front of the media, thinking about a lot of the guys that are in the league from the UK. But, I think Tyler realized that he had a bad postseason. He kind of admitted that in some of the media day things. And, his ability to get by guys without needing the screen is going to help him. His ability to break double teams and break traps is really going to help him more in the postseason because they crushed him. And not only that, I think it got in his head because he couldn't hit a jumper either. And that was before he got hurt. I know people are going to say, oh, he was injured. I don't want to hear it, man. Everyone's injured in the postseason. You got to play through it, play well. You got to hit the open shots. And he was doing it in the regular season. He was a really efficient scorer, and he just could not do it when it came down to postseason scoring. Anytime they threw a trap on him, he looked really lost. So I want Tyler to become a better creator. The efficiency will get there if he can get to the line more and convert there. So finishing, creating, and really, like you said, getting past guys without needing the screen, breaking those traps, and making the right play is really his next evolution as a scorer. Whether we want to extend him and have him on the team and see that evolution year to year, I think a lot of us would disagree about that. And like Stone was saying, we just want him to be the best player possible for the Heat because that'll help the team. That'll help his trade prospects. That'll help fit. If he's bad, that hurts in every aspect. But if he's good, if he really works on his game and does the things that he was talking about, that's a boon for the team, regardless of what they decide to do with him going forward.
Yeah, I've never questioned whether or not Tyler works on his game. It's obvious that man, he works hard, and he tries. He does kind of what you want every player to do. Where they come in, they accept whatever role they were given, and they try to start in that role. I think I hate his fans more than I hate him, to be honest. But Cynthia Lee, thank you for the $1.99 dono. She said, invest in Tyler versus buy Ethereum. You can sell me Dogecoin instead of Tyler Hero. Fuck is you talking about? Then my boy Ryu is said, who's Tyler's biggest op? Mia Trilly. I ain't gonna lie, that boy Trilly got a nasty ass Tyler Hero agenda. I model my game after him. We gonna come to you, Alex. Alex, Tyler Hero, man, just kind of like some of the things that he was talking about. What stuck out to you the most about some of the things that he was talking about?
The biggest thing that stuck out to me, to be honest with you, I think he handled everything as best as he could have. Obviously, the offseason was a lot about him potentially getting moved for 50 billion different guys. And I like that he walked back some of the starter comments, but to be honest with you, he needs to fucking start. Like, if he's supposed to be that guy, you got to come in and start. And I really do like what he said about, shooting kind of off the dribble, like sort of like as the drive and kick guy, being a knockdown shooter in the starting lineup while Bam and Jimmy are in the game. The main reason why I want to see Tyler start, though, is because he actually gets the ball to Bam. Nobody else gets the ball to fucking Bam consistently besides Tyler. I don't know. That's something that Kyle Lowry can do to, not to bring it back with Kyle Lowry, but, that's something he can do to make up some of his reputation. Just get the ball to Bam in good spots and make Bam look good, and that's half the battle, bro. I swear to God. And I think Tyler will have a good year. I really like what he had to say. He talks about, getting past the screen and stuff. And, I want to marry Kate Upton. That'd be fucking great. So I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get past the screen. Is he magically going to get faster? I don't think so. Is he magically going to get the bag of Kyrie Irving in one offseason? I know he's got the no work, no check tattoo, but I don't think that's going to happen. So my guess is that Bam's going to be setting screens.
There are multiple ways to skin a cat, though, Alex. You don't have to be fast. Luka gets by people all the time.
Because Luka's got a great bag, and then Luka will just hit a fucking shot in your mouth because it doesn't matter. Like, Luka doesn't have to get by a screen because Luka hits the shot with a dude in his face. I need Tyler to do the same.
Hero bag better, and he had better shooting numbers.
Are you arguing that Tyler Hero better than? Oh, listen, bro, we finna get your ass up out of here, Stone. I ain't.
But I think he handled it like a mature way. I know he did. He was saying some stuff that, I think not a lot of people thought about, expecting a second kid. He is a very young dude. And he's had such a weird, relationship in Miami. He came in here, popped off in the bubble, and, everybody was like, this guy's the fucking greatest thing ever. It gets the fucking Jack Harlow song, whatever. And then, he comes back to earth, and it's he's either, like you said, Royal, extremely loved or extremely hated. There's, no middle ground with Tyler. So I feel like even he himself goes from, emotional shit, from, not saying anything on Twitter to them being, keep that same energy. I liked the way he came off in, the press conferences, very just, let's focus on basketball. Let's get right. I do think he's going to end up starting, though, because I think the Heat want him to take another leap. And Harry also mentioned it. I'd love to see Tyler Hero get better as a playmaker because Lord knows when Gabe Vincent has to start because, Kyle Lowry's hamstring has failed him yet again. We're going to have a playmaker because I'm so sick of Jimmy just passing out of a fucking double team or something to a shooter. It's bad.
No, but I think Harry made the point earlier where it was you have no choice but to start shooters around our three guys who we already know who are slotted in for that starting spot. But I know we all kind of been bitching about the four for a while, but the spot for the starting two or the competition for the starting two is a hell in the cell match. You have Tyler, you have Depot, you have Strus, and I mean, despite what we think about him, you have Duncan that is dangerously looming in that conversation, to be honest with you, because if Duncan regains his shooting form, then he's the best option of them in that spot. So kind of how do you guys see that shaking out? Harry, I think you said you see Strus and Hero kind of taking that role.
It's definitely going to be that because I think they promised Oladipo a prominent role, which I think means he'll be the first guy off the bench. And I think that is kind of like how they worked out the contract. They gave him the extra year. There's just kind of that injury guarantee in case it goes awry. But, they want Depot off the bench. He's a very, very good defender. He played some very good play. I thought he played some very good playoff minutes considering he hadn't played the whole year. We all will remember the two way offs from Oladipo in Game 7, which is probably stuck in our head, unfortunately. But that's something you could work on. He's a decent shoot guy, so I hope they use that a bit more. But his creativity, his ability to get to the basket is going to help the team. So I like Depot off the bench, Hero and Strus starting, and I think you can build a decent rotation off that. And no, I don't see Duncan being anywhere near the rotation, as you know. So I hope he's gone soon.
Yeah, but if you think about it from your perspective, if you bring in Depot off the bench, that means you got Gabe, Depot, and Caleb coming off the bench, which means that you have a pretty solid core of defenders coming in to spell your starters. Stone, who you see kind of winning that gauntlet at the 2 spot?
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the health of the 3 guys that we're kind of slotting in we know are going to start. We know Lowry's going to start. We know Jimmy's going to start. We know Bam's going to start. If Royal thinks Jimmy misses a lot of games, I think that you have to start Victor Oladipo because I think besides Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo is the only player you can depend on this roster to create constant penetration inside. And for Bam's game to improve, to be good, for him to flourish, you need at least one player on the court like that. You can't just have all spacing and then everyone collapse off the spacing and help against Bam. Or the fact where, Bam can't come off these rolls and get a nice, easy look.
Real quick, Stone, to that point, that's a big difference between if you got PJ Tucker standing in that fucking corner, you got Max Strus standing over there. So PJ Tucker was a part of the spacing, but teams know that they can sag off of PJ Tucker to help on those drives. So maybe by adding in the 2 shooters, you're creating more lanes for people like fucking Kyle Lowry to potentially do some of that?
Yeah, with a healthy Jimmy, I like the shooting. I want the shooting, and I want Vic off the bench so that there's, Jimmy can be the penetrator in the starting group. Vic can penetrate with the bench group, and this creates a nice even balance. I'm just saying, if we think that Jimmy is going to miss a lot of games, which I think is a reasonable, maybe it won't be 20 games, but it could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
20 games every year.
Yeah, so to that extent, I see Victor Oladipo starting in his spot in those 20 games. But when Jimmy is healthy, we're talking about the playoffs, it absolutely has to include Tyler Hero. For his trade value to be taken seriously, which is the bare minimum outcome we all want from him. Like every Heat fan in the entire world, at bare minimum, wants his trade value to increase this season if that's the only thing they get out of him. And I don't see how that will happen if he's remaining on the bench. I think it'll make guys a little hesitant. I think if there's another good young player that is playing starting, with the starters and really creating and impacting for his team, then that player is going to be considered more desirable than Tyler Hero. So I think it's important they get him in the lineup. I think consistently playing with the quality of Jimmy Butler and Bam at the same time will help improve his game. And like you said, Royal, if Duncan can regain that shooting form, I don't really care who's guarding who. He probably gets the other spot. But I do like Max Strus. He's got some dog in him. But for me, it's whatever the group is, it's got to include Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I don't see no scenario in this earth where Darius Days can up his trade value more than Tyler Hero because he's in the starting lineup instead of Tyler. I think Tyler will have value off the bench. I just don't think I agree with you that I don't think it can be maximized with him off the bench. We have to see what he can do as a starter to kind of – go ahead, Eric.
Right, yeah, sorry. I just think the other thing that gets lost in the shuffle with Strus is that I don't know what clicked last year when he replaced Duncan in the lineup, but he became a pretty decent defender. He really figured out how to move his feet and be a good help defender. He also was really good. I don't have the stats pulled up with me, but he was a good isolation defender in the postseason. He wasn't off the dribble like he was earlier in his career, and he wasn't just the turnstile that Duncan is on defense. That's a big reason why he was starting. So I'm with Stone. Tyler's got to be in there. He's done everything he can do off the bench. He's asked to be the starter. I don't see why he wouldn't get it, and I think him starting helps them. And Strus is the answer. I know it's going to make people sad because they like a taller lineup, or they don't think it's going to be big enough, or Strus is going to have trouble down there. I don't know. The Heat can do this in the regular season. The postseason is going to be the answer, and they're going to have to make a move before April.
Yeah, I agree that Strus is he became better as he got more reps with the starters on defense. What I'm wary of is him becoming the new Duncan this year. Like, it's like Duncan, if you remember 2 years ago, Duncan made strides on the defensive side of the ball. People were lauding him for that. Came back last year with the same disaster that he was before that. Alex, I want to make sure I get you in on this conversation. Where are you on the
I was just going to say, like, this happens with the Heat every year now. We fall in love with the dude who came out of fucking nowhere off the bench and, splashed out in the fucking summer league. And we're like, well, this is the guy. And here's the thing. He catches everybody. They catch the whole league on surprise for, like, the last 3 months. And, like, of course, nobody's looking at fucking Strus in the postseason as, like, okay, well, we got a game plan for this guy. They might have done it a little bit when he had the hot streak shooting. But now there's a whole offseason and people now know who Max Strus is. So the same thing with Duncan. You got to adjust to people actually knowing who you are. But I will agree with Harry. I think he'll play the 4 unless we trade for Jay Crowder. I think we're going to trade for Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's talking a lot about how he's extra motivated this year. I know Pat's looking at that salivating motivation contract year type shit. Like, you already know he's looking at that. So I think we're going to end up, honestly, just biting the bullet and trading for Jay Crowder and having Strus off the bench. But to Harry's point, Strus is not a terrible defender. I understand the argument that you got to play Duncan to boost his trade value. Duncan can't play defense, and he's never going to be able to play defense. And every time he steps on the court, all 5 dudes on the other team look like they're tripping acid because they're so fucking excited and their eyes are dilated because they know they're about to get free buckets for the next 10 minutes before Spo decides, holy shit, we were up 8, we're down 4, check everybody the fuck back in the game and tell Duncan to go record in the locker room because it's fucking raps. Like, it's what happens. He's like the worst defender I've ever seen in my life. He can work on the footwork. He can say he didn't recognize the player he was last year. I did. I recognize the player he was last year. It's the player he's been every single year, except for a short, like 9-week period. Other than that, he's been exactly the guy we was last year. Not playing, not good at defense, occasionally hit some threes, right?
I don't know about 9 weeks, Alex. I think he had a solid 2-year stretch. I want to get to these two donos that I missed real quick. Go back up to Darius Jordan. We missed that one before. That was 7 minutes ago. Thank you, Darius Jordan, for the $2 dono. He said, Luka can operate out of a double team situation. I think we were talking about Tyler.
No, he can't. He cannot. When the Heat send traps at Luka, that man looks fucking lost. But that's just my opinion. But thank you for your $2. For your $2, Luka could beat a triple team.
See, that you getting it, Stone. You understand the motto. But no, when the Heat threw a trap at Trae Young, he looked like he couldn't beat a double team either. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can't. That means the Heat play an elite trapping type defense. I think they got very good trapping defenders. Thank you, Cynthia Lee, for the $1.99 dono. She said, what about Vincent? One person on this network, JMV, thought he was going to say that Gabe Vincent should start over Kyle Lowry. Look, I like Gabe Vincent as much as the next man. I think he played well. I do believe that he played better than Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. I do believe he played better than Kyle Lowry in stretches in this season. I do not think Gabe Vincent is a starting point guard in the NBA, and I don't think that he's ever going to be that. I think he could be a really good, solid bench rotation player. Stone, where are you on Gabe Vincent? You think he should start? Think he could start? Any of that?
I honestly don't hate that. Like I think Gabe Vincent is a better basketball player than Kyle Lowry right now. If I'm going off of the last time I watched both of them play basketball, he's more athletic. He can stay in front of people. He's confident. When he shoots a 3-point shot, I realize that there's a chance of it going in. Where with Kyle Lowry, I realize there's a greater chance of it just banging the rim. So for me, I like Gabe Vincent a lot, but I'm with you. He is not a starter. And I would be worried about him. I don't know if I've ever watched him in isolation dribble a basketball by himself for longer than 14 seconds, unless there's 14 seconds left in the game. So there's a lot of unknown with that. I can't say he should be the starter. I think he's a promising young player. I think it's really helpful to get him off the bench, especially if like Lowry picks up, 3 quick fouls being the jackass he is. Then Gabe Vincent can go in there and not get cooked. Like he will stay with a lot of point guards, which is a very difficult thing to do in the NBA. I like Gabe Vincent.
God damn, Stone. You have this way of maneuvering out of whatever the fuck we're talking about to get to that agenda, bro. And it's admirable. I love it, to be perfectly honest. Harry, I'm going to come to you since you weren't paying attention with the Gabe Vincent shit. I know you was just in the phone. But look, I don't think any of us on this panel are going to sit up here and say that Gabe Vincent should start over Kyle Lowry outside of Stone. But did Gabe Vincent do enough last year to kind of lock down this backup spot to be like, he's the backup? We don't need to even explore bringing anybody else in to compete with him for that position. Like, has he done enough to like secure that role or roll that role?
Yeah, I thought Vincent played pretty well last year. At the beginning of last year, I was very nervous about him. He looked bad. I don't know if it's just, him having some more time in the system, some tutelage under Kyle Lowry. But when Lowry went down in the playoffs, Gabe Vincent was pretty good. I think they were 6-1 in the games in which he started. So he was decent. The other thing I wanted to mention, Roy, you brought up a good point. Like you were saying, you don't want this to be another Duncan situation with the contracts. Vincent and Strus are free agents next season. The Heat are probably not going to move them because they're going to be key rotation pieces for this team. What the Heat have to do, and the mistake they made with Duncan, was figure out the price that you're willing to pay. Figure out the years that make sense. Do not be giving these guys 5-year contracts. That's insane. 2 to 3 year deals. Figure out the money that makes sense. And if they want more than that, or if their value is higher on the market, work out a sign and trade. You have their bird rights. You can do stuff like that. Stop locking yourself into these horrible contracts. And that's where I'm in. I agree with you. I don't know if Vincent's ever going to be a starter. I think he could be a starter on a bad team. I think he's more like the 7th or 8th man, and he gives you good minutes. He's a ferocious defender. He can hit a 3 every once in a while. He's been getting better at getting to his mid-range spots and hitting those baskets. He can do all of that. You do not want to be depending on him to do that. So I disagree with JMV. Obviously, we don't need him starting. But he can make spot starts, and he's good like that. Let's figure out what these guys are worth. If we want to bring him back, please don't pay them 5 years, $90 million. That's absurd for most guys. And let's do that. Let's look ahead. Let's be forward thinking. That's what they always talk about with the Heat, like a forward thinking. Do it. This is ridiculous already. Stop making the same damn mistakes. I'm tired of it, and I will not stand for it anymore. And I will yell on here to the end of time if we do it again.
I felt like you was almost in your stone bag for a second, and I was like, "Oh, we finna have another one like that." Thank you, my girl Heather, for the $4.99. Don't know. She said Caleb is going to kill it this year. You heard it here first. Look, Caleb Martin is in a lot of people's minds the leading option to start at the 4. But I do think that when we're having this conversation, we have to consider the guys who we are going to be leaning on throughout the course of the season and whether or not Caleb is the best fit in that situation. Caleb could be remarkable for us as a backup 4. Like he was last year, kind of like the Swiss Army knife. You put him in any like void that you have, and he can do solid things in that role. But to rely on him game in and game out versus some of the other things that we may need in order to make this team competitive, like I just don't know whether or not Caleb kind of fits that mold for us. We need a better form of insurance that can be simple, like the primary sponsor of the basement, which is Simple Health Advisors. Make sure you guys give my guy James Poe a call. If you have, don't you put no donos over my boy James Poe. This is the biggest dono we got. Want to thank the primary sponsor of the basement, the people over at Simple Health Advisors, and my guy James Poe. Insurance does not need to be complicated. Email them or give them a call today and tell them that the basement sent you. Email my guy James Poe at jpough, that's JPOUGH, at simplehealthadvisors.com, or give him a phone call at 321-345-7738. We appreciate James Poe and the people over at Simple Health Advisors for sponsoring us. And we only got 4 minutes in this show. I was going to throw it to Alex one more time because I think he was one short, but I'm not doing that because we got a Dolphins short stream that's coming on right after this. So if you guys are Dolphins fans, make sure you stay on and watch that. My guy Alex is going to be there too, along with my boy Juan. I think, JMB and Ant are dealing with the storm right now. So shout out to them press side guys. I'm hoping that they're making it through with that. But we got the Dolphins team coming up next. So y'all guys pay attention to that. So Super Chat is back, ladies and gentlemen. And as we saw, y'all were waiting and raring forward. So we appreciate y'all with that. But thank you guys, as always, for joining us in the comments, making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my man Alex, Stone, and Harry for joining me. And my guy Justin in the back producing. We'll catch you hoes next time. Watch that Dolphin stream, too. Give them some Super Chat love, too. Play the video, Justin.
Yeah. We packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat pack in the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the tray, yes and no. Friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul. But when the ring is the goal, but if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.